Let's start with cave divers, because apparently swimming in open water wasn't dangerous enough. Most scuba divers stay relatively close to open water. Cave divers do the exact opposite. They intentionally swim into underwater cave systems where the only exit may be hundreds of meters away. And once you're inside, you can't just swim straight upward. The cave ceiling is blocking the surface, so if something goes wrong, the only way out is usually the same way you came in. Many underwater caves are enormous. Some branch into dozens of different tunnels, which means getting lost is a very real possibility. Even worse, a single careless fin kick can stir up sediment from the cave floor. And underwater, that sediment behaves like a giant cloud of smoke. In a matter of seconds, visibility can drop to almost zero. Now imagine trying to find your way out of a maze while your air supply is slowly running out. That's why cave diving is often considered one of the most dangerous forms of diving on Earth. Because when something goes wrong, rescue isn't waiting nearby. It's hidden behind hundreds of meters of flooded cave. Next, we have volcano researchers, which sounds like a perfectly normal career until you realize their workplace occasionally explodes. Volcano researchers study active volcanoes to understand how they work and hopefully predict future eruptions, because knowing when a mountain is about to explode is pretty useful information. To gather information, researchers often travel surprisingly close to active volcanoes, close enough to collect samples, install sensors, and monitor volcanic activity firsthand. The problem is that volcanoes don't operate on a schedule. They can remain quiet for years, then suddenly become extremely dangerous. And lava isn't always the biggest threat. Many volcanoes release toxic gases that can be invisible, odorless, and deadly in high concentrations. Then there are pyroclastic flows. Think of them as giant avalanches made of superheated gas, ash, and rock racing down a volcano at highway speeds. That's why volcano researchers spend years learning how to read warning signs and assess risks. Because getting the science wrong can have consequences far beyond the laboratory. Next, we have bomb disposal technicians, a job where being wrong isn't a learning experience. Bomb disposal technicians are trained to identify, investigate, and disable explosive devices. And unlike most jobs, a single mistake can instantly become your last. Before touching anything, technicians have to figure out exactly how the device works, because cutting the wrong wire isn't a movie cliché. Some devices are designed specifically to kill the people trying to disarm them, meaning the bomb itself may be only part of the trap. And even with protective gear, there are limits. A bomb suit can improve your chances. It cannot make an explosion harmless. That's why every operation is treated as a life or death situation, because sometimes the only thing separating success from disaster is a single decision. For most people, a bomb is something they only see in movies. For bomb disposal technicians, it's just another day at work. Next, we have smoke jumpers. Most firefighters drive toward a fire. These firefighters jump out of airplanes into one. Smoke jumpers are elite wildfire firefighters. When a fire starts in a remote area, they're often among the first people sent in. The goal is simple: get there fast, contain the fire early, and stop it before it grows into a disaster. The problem is that wildfires don't always cooperate. A fire can completely change direction in minutes. And once a wildfire gets large enough, it starts creating its own weather. That's when things become truly dangerous. Escape routes don't always exist, and when a fire traps you, there's often nowhere left to go. That's why smoke jumping is one of the most dangerous firefighting jobs in the world, because sometimes the mission ends before the firefighter makes it home. Next, we have high voltage helicopter lineman, a job where touching the wrong thing can instantly send hundreds of thousands of volts through your body. Power lines don't repair themselves, and some of the biggest transmission lines are too important to simply shut down. So instead of turning the electricity off, specially trained workers are sent directly to the live wires. The danger isn't just the electricity. They're also working hundreds of feet above the ground from a moving aircraft. One mistake, one equipment failure, or one unexpected movement, and the consequences can be immediate. Even electrical arcs can be deadly, because electricity doesn't always need direct contact to find a path. That's why high-voltage helicopter linemen are among the most specialized utility workers on Earth. Because every repair happens in an environment where a mistake can be fatal long before anyone reaches the ground. Next, we have saturation divers. People who willingly work so deep underwater that returning to the surface too quickly can kill them. Saturation divers work at depths where ordinary scuba diving becomes impossible. To survive these depths, divers live inside pressurized chambers for days or even weeks at a time. Because if pressure changes too quickly, the human body can suffer catastrophic damage. And if something goes wrong down there, help isn't a few minutes away. Sometimes it's hours away, which is a terrifying amount of time when you're trapped at the bottom of the ocean. That's why saturation diving is often considered one of the most dangerous jobs on Earth, because the ocean is already deadly. These workers just choose to live in the worst part of it. Next, we have Alaskan crab fishermen. A job where the weather is trying to kill you almost as much as the ocean is. Most fishing boats avoid storms. Alaskan crab fishermen often work directly inside them. And out here, a single wave can be powerful enough to sweep someone straight off the deck. The cold is just as dangerous. Every wave leaves behind a layer of ice, and if enough of it builds up, the boat itself can become unstable. Then there are the crab pots. Each one weighs hundreds of pounds, and on a moving deck, that much steel can become a deadly weapon. Falling overboard is every crab fisherman's nightmare. The water is so cold that your body starts shutting down almost immediately, and by the time rescue arrives, it may already be too late. Even routine work can become deadly. Because the deck never stops moving, the weather never stops changing, and heavy equipment never stops swinging. That's why Alaskan crab fishing is consistently ranked among the deadliest jobs in the world. Every trip starts with the crew heading out to sea, and sometimes not every member of that crew comes home. Next, we have war correspondents, a job where your office is an active war zone. War correspondents go where most people are desperately trying to escape. Their job is to document conflicts from the front lines, which means they often end up standing dangerously close to the violence they're covering. The biggest threat isn't always the people you can see. Sometimes it's artillery, sometimes it's airstrikes, and sometimes there's no warning at all. Even when reporters aren't being targeted, they can still be caught in the middle of someone else's fight. And bullets don't care whether you're carrying a rifle or a camera. And unlike soldiers, journalists often have limited protection because their job isn't to fight. It's to stay close enough to danger to tell the world what's happening. That's why war correspondence remains one of the most dangerous forms of journalism, because getting the story often means standing closer to death than anyone should have to. Finally, we have nuclear cleanup workers, a job where the thing trying to kill you is completely invisible. Radiation doesn't look dangerous, it doesn't smell dangerous, and that's exactly what makes it so terrifying. Sometimes workers only have minutes, because certain areas can contain radiation levels high enough to overwhelm protective limits almost immediately. The reactor isn't the only threat. Radioactive contamination can cling to debris, to equipment, and even to the workers themselves. And unlike fire or explosions, radiation doesn't always hurt you immediately. The mistake can happen today, but the consequences may follow you long after you leave the site. That's why nuclear cleanup workers take part in some of the most dangerous recovery operations on Earth, because someone has to enter the places everyone else is trying to escape. And sometimes protecting millions of people means risking your own life.